Should I confront the other woman? My name is Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, and I think that you will find that the perspective that we have at the Marriage Foundation is quite different. We don't follow the normal quote-unquote common knowledge, that which has come from, in my opinion, a sort of dark place where people are working on the issues. My thing, our thing at the Marriage Foundation is to work on the whole marriage. Because if your marriage is suffering with infidelity, obviously it means that things have not been going right for quite some time. Now that's not always true. We do get emails from people because we have a free counseling service, and we get emails from people where they're newlyweds. The women are a newlywed, and they say, you know, I knew my husband was into porn, and I knew he was still looking, but I had no idea that he was having an affair with my best friend. So in those situations, the answer is very different from in a situation where you've been married for a while. So we're going to try and we're going to separate those two. So if you're newlywed, and when I say newlywed, I mean under 1 year. Well, we got to draw a line somewhere. So let's say it's been only a year. And let's also say that you don't have any children. The situation that you have, that you find yourself in, is really no fun. You may be Christian and you may say, well, I want my marriage to work. Or you may be, and you have to do some introspection here, you may be so embarrassed by having a marriage that is not working after only 1 year. But you're looking at your entire life in front of you. You're looking at having children, having a family. You don't want to be repairing something that is irreparable, because it won't work. You will be frustrated and living in pain your entire life when you have the ability to change your circumstances now. And you're still going to be lovable. You're still going to be desirable. And actually, if you take the Finding Your Soulmate course that our sister organization provides, you'll find that making the decision to leave your marriage at this point would be the right decision. And in those cases, it's not worth confronting the other woman. There's no point in it. All you'll do by doing that is you'll create more drama in your own life, because you're on your own already. If you just got married and your husband is already cheating on you, you're on your own. He's not part of your marriage. He's already left it, if he'd ever been in it to begin with. So the advice, and there are no absolutes, obviously, but 95% of the time, you're much better off ending your marriage, taking responsibility for having made a mistake, and perhaps many mistakes on your part as well. Just the fact that he got through your filters and you married him, you really need to look at why you were willing to marry him, because you cannot tell me that you were not aware of his tendencies. And sometimes people hide that from themselves, but you were aware. You did know that he wasn't the kind of man who would be loyal and faithful to you. Now that it's impossible to ignore, what good is it going to do to go after the other woman? All you're going to be doing is creating a Jerry Springer scenario And maybe you're too young to know what that is, but he would bring people on who cheated with each other on his show for all the drama because it was entertaining. But this is your life. There is no entertainment value here. Educational value, yes. So, by all means, release yourself from this quote-unquote marriage and start on a new track of life. Get hold of our course for finding your soulmate. You'll learn so much, and you won't fall back into this same pit, this same disaster. Now, for those of you who have been married for some time, maybe you have children, your marriage has been going along for years, and again, we hear from people where their marriage has been going on for 25 years, 30 years, or longer. Not unusual. And there's another woman. Sometimes the other woman is a friend of the family, and it's very embarrassing. Sometimes it's a co-worker. So for you, the advice begins with, you gotta start with taking a look at your own marriage. Your own marriage has not been working, or your husband would not have been looking somewhere else. And you cannot fool yourself into thinking that it's her fault. That doesn't mean that I condone her behavior. The other woman is a homewrecker, but your husband would have found one. It isn't her fault. And I don't want to imply that it's your fault, but there is a big part of this that you could have prevented this from happening. Unfortunately, in our Western society, women have been trained into believing, and maybe you're a victim of this pseudo-training yourself, this false training, this misguided training, that the woman has the right, if not the obligation, to let her husband know, I'm not available just whenever you want. That alone is a precursor to infidelity, where she is insisting that her feelings, her moods, her desires are paramount in the marriage, and that his needs just don't count. Now, the reason I bring up this in particular is because men are over-sexualized in our society. So women have reacted in this way to draw a hard line. But it doesn't work for marriage. The fact of the matter is that he's wrong to cheat on you. She was wrong and is wrong to get involved with a married man. And you are also wrong to not understand your husband in ways that fully satisfied him in his marriage. It's very important for both the husband and the wife to really understand each other and understand themselves when they're married. It makes an amazing difference. It means that your lives, because marriage is meant to create happiness for both of you. Clearly, both of you were not happy, or he would not have strayed. So let's put her off to the side for a moment, and let's say you're only working on your own marriage. So I want to be clear. You know, I used to be a divorce mediator, but for the past 20 years, I've been helping people save their marriages. I've even spoken at support groups for women going through a divorce and asked them, are you sure your marriage is over? Well, you're sliding towards marriage being over if your husband is cheating on you. And back in those days when I used to speak at these support groups, Second Saturday in particular was the most popular at that time. I don't know if it is today. The women were so angry that their husband cheated on them. And of course, who can blame them? But you have to remember that your husband didn't cheat on you because he's a dog. He cheated on you because he wasn't getting from the marriage what he wanted. Now, in those days, all I had was a book that people could read, and they would come see me, and I would help them learn and understand what to do. But since then, at the Marriage Foundation, which is a nonprofit, we put together a course for women so that you can really grasp, not be told what to do. I'm really big on free will, but to be exposed to what's going on, and it becomes really obvious what you need to do. Okay, I do prod a little bit and bring you to these realities very directly, but your marriage can still be saved. It won't be saved by confronting the other woman. Now, sometimes the other woman needs to be confronted. Like if it's a friend, she's obviously not a friend. I have no objection to your ripping her a new one. I don't think it will matter. Your husband may get angry, but so what at this point? You do have a right, in a way, to defend your turf against other women, and other women shouldn't feel like they could just walk all over you. It's not your husband who is walking all over you. So your main thing, now I say I don't have an objection, doesn't mean I'm urging you to do it. What I am urging you to do is to focus on your marriage. One person, when it's the woman, can save her marriage almost in every case. And my approach is not to save your marriage by coming up with, sexy vacations or learning the language of love or any of what I consider to be nonsense. What I did was I discovered the basic principles of marriage and created step-by-step processes to save your marriage that make sense and that work. It's almost mathematical in nature. I'll give you an example. Common knowledge today, accepted, is that there are right ways to argue. I'm sorry. But think about it. Right ways to argue. Who comes up with this nonsense? Here you are, your soulmates. Your primary goal of marriage is to feel the love that binds you together. Experience that love and live in ever-expanding happiness, right? Right? Isn't that why you got married? So how does arguing properly fit into that? Arguing doesn't fit in at all. So that's a good example, I think, of where I'm coming from. I teach you these things, but most importantly with the course, because all these things you can learn from the book, but at this stage your marriage is so far off the right tracks that you need to be pulled onto those tracks, not just learn everything about marriage and put yourself back on those tracks. You won't be able to do it. Very few can. But you need to learn first, and this is a big part of the course for women. You need to understand how your mind works. Don't get scared by this. But it's important. Right now, 99.9% of the people in the world are literally controlled by their emotions. Their emotions are guiding their next move. It doesn't work when that happens. Because your emotions are a subconscious tool that you're supposed to control. They're not supposed to control you. So when I say the first thing you have to learn is how to control the mind, I'm really talking about learning how to be aware of and control your emotions and change them, change your habits. We're mostly, all of us, reactionary. We're operating according to our inner reactions, which are habits. You have to learn, because we don't learn these things in school, so now we have to learn how we can control our habits. Everyone says you can't do that. How many times have you made a New Year's resolution and you broke it in a week? But that's because common knowledge in society is dumb. You can control your habits. You can get rid of the ones you don't like, and you can install the ones that you should have, according to your design. No one has the right to tell you what those habits should be. Remember I said I'm big on free will. It's one of the core principles that I discovered that is so important in your marriage. You should be utilizing your free will correctly. And of course, you should be honoring the free will of your husband, but in the right way. So, I wanted to give you all this information, not just answer your question. I plead guilty to having done that, because you really should be signing up and getting more of these videos so you get more understanding about marriage. But it's also really important. Do that to sort of test. See if I make sense to you. Because I'm not like the other people who are offering marital solutions. Certainly not like counselors, like therapists. So get more of these videos. Sign up so that you receive them as they come out. But get the course for women. Address this with intention and specific intention to save your marriage. And not to save your marriage through compromise, but to turn your marriage into something that it's supposed to be, which is filled with love, filled with harmony, filled with happiness and joy. That's what it was supposed to be in the beginning. The counselors just sent me an email that we received the other day from a woman who's 2 or 3 years into the course. She just wanted to let us know that her marriage continues to improve and that it's already far beyond anything she ever imagined was possible. Everyone has this ability. Okay, everyone. That may be a slight exaggeration, but it's only a slight exaggeration. Marriage is an amazing institution when you know how to make it work. I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. If you want to leave a thought to me, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. Like this, share it. Other people should be made aware. We're coming into a new age where there's understanding behind everything we do. We don't just do things like robots or automatons or because people told us to do them. Everything's about understanding. What is that expression? Above all that you should get the understanding. I'm big on that. Okay, my blessings to you, my prayers for you, my blessings to your husband and your family. God bless and take care.